forward, get with me ahead of time so I know before we'll have them introduced. Okay, first item we have is each one of you has a copy of the committee rules. So at your convenience, you can look those over. If you have any questions or problems, let me know. At this time, we'll start out with some staff introductions. David Weiss, Office of Revisor and Statutes. David?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. David Weiss with the Revisor Statutes Office. We are, the bill drafters for the office, if you don't remember. And also, if you have provisos as we work our way through the budget process, please get with either Jesse or I, and we'll get you some provisos if you need language on any particular budget items. So thank you.
If you would, let everyone introduce themselves, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm Jesse, an attorney with the Revisor of Statutes Office. I assist David with the bill drafting of the budget and any provisos you may think of over the session. Do you want to KLRD?
Okay, they are. Okay. Next, we'll move on to Dylan Deere, Kansas Legislative Research Department. Dylan, welcome committee.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me with the committee again. I am Dylan Deere. I'm the Assistant Director for Fiscal Affairs. The budgets I have are all of the legislative budgets. So Legislature, LCC, KLRD, LPA, all of those. But if you have a question about any budget, feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure you get to the right place. With that, I would turn it over to Stephen.
Good morning, committee. Welcome back. My name is Stephen Wu, Managing Fiscal Analyst. The budgets I'm in charge of are the Department of Administration's budget as well as CAPER's. So if you have any questions there, feel free to direct them my way. And if you have a question for Dylan and he's not available, I can do my best to do a Dylan impression.
Thank you, Stephen.
Good morning. My name is Sharday Kane. I am a Principal Fiscal Analyst with KLRD. My agencies are the Board of Nursing, the Board of Pharmacy, ks, and the 5 state hospitals. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharday.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Luke Drury, and I'm a Senior Fiscal Analyst with Legislative Research. And the budgets that I take a look at are all Ag and Natural Resources budgets. So Department of Agriculture, Water Office, Division of Environment, Wildlife and Parks, and then some utilities budgets as well. That includes the KCC and the Citizens Utility Ratepayer Board. And then as a part of my Agriculture and Natural Resources, I am also the State Water Plan Fund Coordinator for KLRD. So welcome back and look forward to working with you all.
Thank you, Luke.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Light, and I'm a Senior Fiscal Analyst. You'll see me last year with the K-12 education budget. This year I have a couple of different budgets as well. I have the School for the Blind, the School for the Deaf, and the Office of Early Childhood, and I'm the Children's Initiative Fund Coordinator this year. So looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Good morning, Chair and Committee. I'm Amanda Prosser. I'm a Senior Fiscal Analyst with Legislative Research. This year, you'll be hearing from me for Kansas Department for Health and Environment, as well as Office of the Child Advocate. I just spaced on the other two, goodness gracious. Oh, and Department for Children and Families, sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Morning, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Nicole Rincher. I'm a fiscal analyst with KLRD, and I have the Department of Corrections budget, as well as all of the correctional facilities, the Sentencing Commission, and the Kansas Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Trainings, and I'm also staffing Senate Ways and Means.
Thank you, Nicole.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jacob Klesby. I'm a fiscal analyst with KLRD. My assignments are the Department of Commerce, Department of Revenue, Board of Accountancy, Board of Tax Appeals, Pooled Money Investment Board, and I'm the coordinator for the EDIF Fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
Good morning. My name is Edgar Klein. I'm a new fiscal analyst with KLRD.
I have several fee boards, including the Board of Mortuary Arts, Board of Optometry, and Healing Arts. I also am responsible for the Healthcare Stabilization Fund and Department of Labor. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Molly Pratt. This is my 4th session as a fiscal analyst with the Legislative Research Department. The agencies I'm assigned to review are all of the judicial-related agencies, so the Judicial Branch, Judicial Council, Office of Administrative Hearings, and the Board of Indigent Defense Services, as well as the Kansas Lottery, the Racing and Gaming Commission, and the Office of Veteran Services. I'm also the coordinator for the Expanded Lottery Act Revenues Fund. So any questions that you have, just send them my way. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Good morning. My name is Ariana Waddell, and I'm a fiscal analyst. My agency assignments are the Office of the Attorney General, the State Bank Commissioner, Department of Credit Unions, the Public Disclosure Commission, the Office of the Governor, Department of Insurance, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Thank you, Ariana.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Connor Hughes. I'm a legislative fellow, and my assignments are the Abstractors Board of Examiners, the Board of Barbering, the Dental Board, the Hearing Aid Board of Examiners, and the Kansas Guardianship Program.
Thank you, Connor.
I'm just going to mention briefly, we have a couple fiscals that could not be here today. They're trying to finalize our performance-based budgeting structures, which we hope to have up this afternoon by the end of the day. So Dayton Lemunyon, who's going to be your higher education analyst, you'll see him probably later this week, as well as Kyle Anderson, who is going to be your transportation and public safety analyst. You will see him, and James Fisher, who is the assistant director for information technology and has the OITS budget. The 3 of them were not able to be here. They're on to other projects currently.
Thank you, Dylan. I guess next we'll have Dylan again. Dylan's going to do a little presentation on the budget process. We're doing it more like we did in past years, but not last year. So,
thank you, sir. I'm going to keep this super brief. I know everybody's heard most of this stuff already. So the state budget process, the way it sort of started is we took it over the summer. The 2025 Special Committee on State Budget met 5 times. At that, they heard the various agency requested budgets. Those are the ones that had been submitted to the governor, okay, for her consideration, but prior to her recommendation. Okay, but had been through the technical correction process by the Division of Budget. What that means is that they've gone through it and verified that the funds balanced, that they correctly reflected and followed state procedures on those budgets. The State Budget Committee made recommendations on those budgets, and they were resolved. The recommendations did delete 556.5 million SGF and 363 FTE positions in 26, and $603.5 million SGF and 794.0 FTE positions in FY 2027. Those recommendations were comprised of just some globals for the most part. So what you saw was there was a recommendation to remove any request by agencies to restore the 1.5% operating reduction that was recommended by the legislature last year as part of SB 125. That deleted $7 million roughly from the budgets after they came out of the approval process. There was a recommendation to remove any request for the addition of FTE and associated funding above the 26 approved level. And that's where you got those FTE deletions from. There was a recommendation to remove any agency requested salary increases unless directed by law. Okay, and what that means is that there's a new judicial pay plan for judges. And so that was left in place. There is a law that says that the schools for the blind and deaf salaries are matched to that of the Olathe School District, so that type of stays in place. And also, there's a variety of mishmash of different regulations that say if so-and-so gets a pay increase, so does administrative law judges or stuff like that. And all that kind of stuff sort of stays in place. So if there's a statute that governs it, then it stays. If it's just like the agency requesting a salary adjustment, then those are held off. Chair Waymaster did indicate he desired to consider, once again, a market-based salary plan, and he brought that to the attention of the committee. There was also a recommendation to remove any reappropriations from all appropriated funds, so not just SGF reappropriations, but also State Water Plan Fund reappropriations or any others, okay, unless they're associated with caseloads or capital improvements. So if there was a reappropriation for an armory or something like that, then that would stay in place, those dollars, with the assumption that those dollars are just carrying forward while you had an ongoing capital improvement project. There was also recommendations to remove all enhancements and supplementals from the budget. So if the agency requested additional new special project funding in FY26 or 27, that was deleted. They also adopted the Human Services Education and the Board of Engineering and Defense Services Assigned Counsel caseloads. And they also adopted the fall lottery revised estimates as well for revenue, because there's some language in the bill that needs to get adjusted when those new revenue estimates come out. So pretty much what you're just seeing there is globals. We have passed out, and I've distributed a shorthand that describes those in detail, so you can see the effects of those. And I believe you'll be considering them now. My understanding is there has been a bill introduced, or will be shortly, that reflects these recommendations both in the House and the Senate. Those will be identical. One difference this year from the previous year is that we will start both in the House and the Senate at the same time, like we've done historically, as opposed to letting the bill go all the way through the House and then come over to the Senate the way often policy bills do. So once again, it'll be more like a regular appropriations bill. So it goes through both chambers, and then you conference on that on a substitute bill. With that, I would stand for questions about the budget process before I take a moment briefly to talk about our new website.
Thank you. Any questions for Dylan? Seeing none?
All right, if we could bring up our new website. Take just a moment here. All right, so this is a new Power BI interface for the state budget. We've been doing a lot of work over the past couple of years. I really want to give a lot of credit to Dayton Lemunyon, Kyle Anderson, and we have a new database analyst, Tejas, who have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting to make this work. Y'all don't really see it, but what's happened is that we have redesigned the way the legislative process works for analyzing budgets, so everything is now in a relational database. And so one of the requests that we often get is, where are we right now? Okay, where is the House? Where is the Senate? How much have we spent? And so this is, the button that is to press right now is for 26 and SGF, and you see the approved level of spending, the agency requested level of spending, and the State Budget Committee recommendations. Once the bills are introduced, we'll have a House and a Senate buttons will light up. And sometime after Wednesday, tomorrow, when the GovRec is released, the governor's position, that will be the button on the far right-hand side that you'll see there. And so you'll be able to see what the comparison is and what your total spend is. And this is backlinked to our database, which means that at the end of the day, after we've all balanced, like you've reported out through Ways and Means. So it's not when the subcommittees or the policy committees make their recommendations, but after the report out process has happened in this committee, that will go into the Senate position. And so you'll see a live number on what your total spend is. Also, you can change to the following fiscal year, the budget year. And so you can change back and forth and see the different years of spending. You can also see all funds. So if you're curious about the all funds spend or funds for the State Water Plan Fund, and you also on the right, you can do a drop down. And if you're curious about specific agency level spending, you'll be able to see that as well. And so if you just go to the KLRD website and click on state budget, that's where you'll be able to see that. We've also made one other modification. If you go, we've had some feedback that people were having trouble finding documents on our website. And so we did a little bit of a redesign. So if you want to go and click on agency budget publications. And then page down a little bit. There'll be a drop down for each function, and just open any function. And then you'll see the agencies, and if you click on the agency, you'll see our various publications, the appropriations report, the budget committee report, the budget summary. And any new publications, once as they come out, they'll be available there as well. So it'll just make it easier for everybody to actually find the publications. All this stuff was available previously, but it was kind of buried on the bottom. We've been making some modifications to our website to make it more mobile accessible. So people can pull it up. This is still mobile accessible, but we've moved some of those key features to the top of the page and put them in context menus. So I just wanted to show you that. That's where you can find the publications as the session goes forward. And with that, I'd stand for questions.
Any questions? Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your presentation, Donald. Performance-based budgeting, is that around this at all in this program? Where would that be located in here?
So you should be able to see links. We'll have a link to those various ones there. We also can click on, Stephen, if you want to navigate to performance-based budgeting under statewide, I think it's under statewide budget publications. And you see PB managers there, and you'll be able to link it from there. And like I said, that should be standing up this afternoon. Frankly, that's what Kyle and Dayton are working on right now. That's why they're not here, is because they're trying to get all the numbers to crunch. That publication is about 1,600 pages after it's all put together, and so there's a lot of data in there that we've had to sort of correlate and make sure it all is accurate. Once again, I will note on performance measures, we are simply reporting on the measures that we receive from the agencies. The KLRD does not tell agencies what performance measures to provide. And we don't comment really on whether that's a good performance measure or a bad performance measure. The only reason we're doing what we do with performance measures is just to give you some accessible format to be able to see what those performance measures are. But if you want to provide feedback, you're always welcome to do so.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. Next, we'll have an update on KLRD publications. Stephen Wu. Stephen, welcome back.
Thank you, committee. I'm just going to speak briefly on this sheet that you should have in front of you. This is just a quick reference of the major budget publications that we will be using throughout session this year. There are three ones I want to highlight here. The first is the agency budget summary. It'll look like this. You will receive a copy of each budget as you make recommendations to them. What is included in this document are the agency budget request as well as comparisons against what the legislature approved in the previous session. What is not included relative to old versions of this publication is information such as what's in the governor's recommendation, for example, and this is largely due to issues of timing. So what you'll primarily find here is what is included in the agency's request. Now, from here, the state Special Committee on State Budget has made their own recommendations, which sort of kicks off the process of legislative recommendations to these agency budgets. And so referencing back to this document, there are two additional publications down here that I want to highlight. The first is a shorthand report. We've historically provided a version of this report to committees as they have received budget recommendations in the past. What this shows is comparisons of one point against another. So what a budget committee's recommendations are to an agency's budget, or what this committee's recommendations are to a Senate Policy Committee's recommendations. And so at each step of the process, the changes will be detailed in this shorthand report. And lastly is a budget committee report. This shows a running total of what the current positions are for each agency's budget. So it'll tally up each of the items that you'll see in that shorthand report. It'll spit out a total. It'll include a total of what the recommended budget is for this agency, and it'll include details at each step of the process. So you can use this to reference what the House did on this budget or what a prior Senate committee did on this budget. And so we'll be using those three documents to help communicate budget information as it moves through the process. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to answer them either now or later.
Anyone have any questions for Stephen? Senator Petty.
Thanks, Stephen. And so on the shorthand report, so at this point in time, that shorthand report would show what the Budget Committee did prior to the session?
So we presented a version of the shorthand report to the Legislative Budget Committee, the meeting earlier in January. What was shown there was all of the Special Budget Committee's recommendations to agency budget requests. So that, I think that document wound up being like 30-something pages, and it details all of the special budget committee's recommendations to the agency request. Moving forward, we can compare any 2 points. So we can compare what this committee's recommendations are compared against the special budget committee's recommendations. And so that what is included in the report will be flexible, but in general, the idea is that we compare changes made to a recommended changes made to a budget.
Now, this report is not going to reflect anywhere the governor's recommendations. Is that what you're saying?
We can include that as well. So if you wanted to know what the governor's recommendations are relative, like how those changes are, how those compare to an agency's request, for example, this would show that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Stephen. Committee, this new process is going to go really quick because our time frame is quite a bit shorter, and so be prepared for fast pace. The last report outs are scheduled for February 5th. That's the last ones. Plan is to pass the budget out of committee on February 12th. So we'll be working Fridays. I know in the past we've missed some Fridays, but subcommittees will be meeting different times, and Friday's going to be part of the plan. Also, you all have a sheet for your subcommittees. So it lists all your subcommittees. We're still working on the calendar for those. So as soon as we get dates, and we'll share them with everyone. And Senator Peck, I misunderstood what we were talking about a little earlier. This is subcommittees. That's what we're getting ready. But for your committee, I think we talked with you yesterday on getting started this week, and that's right. So this week is going to be, it depends on which committees you're on. There's going to be some like that will be starting on budgets for the Ag Committee. So not only do we have subcommittees, but we have several committees. You know, Renee will have K-12 in hers like she always does, and Senator Alley will do Commerce again. Senator Peterson will have Transportation. Senator Peck, like I mentioned, has the Ag and Natural Resource, and Wildlife and Parks, and quite a few of them. Senator Fagg has some that are Commerce and so forth. So, and Corrections, okay, yeah. Well, that's your subcommittee, but in your regular committee, you have the, you'll have some utility stuff, KCC and some of those, yeah. Commerce is Senator Alley, okay. Any other questions? Okay, committee, we appreciate everybody being here today. We are adjourned. Thank you.